Further ado, I want to get straight into this video. Yes, it's another Grand Theft Auto video that I'm doing. I've been thinking about this, and me and my nephew was actually talking about it last night. In the trailer, the first beginning of the trailer, we are introduced to Lucia, and Lucia is actually in prison. Now, the question that I had about her being in prison was, what happens if you get locked up in the game? Now, if you want to find out what I think happens when you get locked up in the game, watch this video until the end. And if you like what you hear during this video, and if you like other videos on the channel, consider subscribing to the channel for more content. So let's get right into it. If you look at the first shot after the shot that we get of the highway that leads to the prison, and the next shot we see the gates to the prison, you know, the barbed wire, the fencing, and everything. This is the first time in the Grand Theft Auto trailer, and you can do the research if you need to, that we have ever seen an active prison in Grand Theft Auto. Because even in the next shot, Lucia is looking out the window, as you see. And if you look out the window, the yard is active. She's in general population. That's an active yard. There are people sitting outside that are out there too in prison. And what I was starting to think about was, okay, it could be something like in the beginning of the game. When you start the beginning of the game, the prison is just active as a cutscene. Like we see it active as a cutscene, but then that next shot with her and Stephanie, where Stephanie is asking her, does she know why she's there? Stephanie is a caseworker. She's not Lucia's probation officer or parole officer, because you don't see your parole officer or probation officer in a jail uniform. That means she's still in the prison when she goes to see Stephanie. So Stephanie must be her caseworker. So if you go back to prison, you probably have another encounter or more encounters with Stephanie the more you get locked up. Now, is the prison, going to be an active prison? So you get pulled over by the cops. The cops catch you. You get out the car. There's a whole arrest sequence that's going on. Before I go to it further into that, I want to touch back on Stephanie, because if you look at Stephanie's work area, you see pictures of her family, and you see that she has a very professional looking work area, if you want to say that. So like Red Dead Redemption, right? In Red Dead Redemption, a lot of the characters in Red Dead Redemption, they had their own lives. Like if you follow some of these characters, I mean, some of them, if you follow them, they'll just go to like off distances on the board and just sit or stand. But for the most part, some of them had their own life. Like there was a guy that went home and came back and worked on a building the next day. So is Stephanie going to have her own life? Whereas if you follow Stephanie, she actually goes home and then comes back to work at the prison to sit at her desk, you know, and actually have other people she's talking to. Because if it's going to be like that, that's going to make Grand Theft Auto 6 crazy. Again, now let's go back to you getting pulled over by the police. You get pulled over by the cops, like we see when they come out of the store, they rob the store, they're getting away in the General Lee. That's actually what that car is. If you guys don't know what the General Lee is, I'm showing you the General Lee right now on the screen from the show The Dukes That Has It. They're getting away in the General Lee. You understand? Then all of a sudden they get pulled over by the cops. They both go to jail. Now, when you go back to prison, because you're on probation, that's what people believe, because she has an ankle bracelet on. When you go back into prison, prison is an actual environment. Like you're in there, you're probably fighting for your life. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody coming in your cell trying to get you Prison is not just like a cutscene, and it's not like it was in other Grand Theft Auto games where if you flew over it, you got like 4 or 5 stars and you wasn't able to go in. And if you did go to it, it was just a building. You couldn't even go inside. It was just a building with cops hanging around it. It was like that in Grand Theft Auto 5. So I'm just wondering, in this game, when you go to prison, are you going to actually be in prison? Because as many people have mentioned, all of the buildings and all of the infrastructure there, you're going to be able to enter. So are we going to be in prison, not just you going to jail? You know how you get locked up in Grand Theft Auto, and then there's a cut scene and you're standing in front of the jailhouse, you know, and some money was taken away from you. I don't think it's going to happen like that in Grand Theft Auto 6. You get pulled over by the cops. You actually get put in handcuffs. You get put in the back of a police car. You get driven to the station. You get processed. 9 times out of 10, if you're playing as Lucia, you're going to see Stephanie again. She's going to probably ask you, why are you here again? You're going to do a little bit of time depending on what your crime was. It'd be crazy if you even go to court. You have a court date. You're in a courtroom talking to an actual judge. If they do all of that in Grand Theft Auto 6, guys, that's going to be crazy. Crazy. Now, don't nobody get in the comments talking about it's too early to think about this, it's too early to think about that. We're here for speculation. I'm here for the speculatory things that anybody has to come up with, because we all want to know, what is this game going to consist of? They've been working on it for 10 plus years. So if that's not something that's in the game, that'd be crazy. But if it's in the game, remember where you heard this at. Remember where you saw this at in 2025. Or if you're here in 2025, listening to this video now, yeah, I mentioned this 2 years ago. So give me my props. But I'm just asking the question, guys, in the comments right now. Do you think that that's what's going to happen? Do you think when you get locked up, you'll be processed? You'll go back to your caseworker, which Stephanie is a caseworker. I don't think she's a probation officer, and I don't think she's a parole officer. So I think she's a caseworker in the prison, working with prisoners who are being released or who are being processed. I think that's what Stephanie does, to try to, steer these people in the right direction. There's a couple of other things I've been thinking about too. I'm gonna go ahead and mention in this video. Tommy Vercetti. Now, if you don't know who Tommy Vercetti is, I mean, you shouldn't even be looking at this Vice City trailer. Tommy Vercetti is the main protagonist in Vice City. Now, you got to think, when we're looking at this city, we had an updated version of Vice City. Not Miami. We're not looking at Miami. I understand we're not looking at Miami. We're not looking at the Florida Keys. And we're not looking at the other little cities that surround the Miami. We're looking at the cities and everything else that surrounds Vice City. That's why everything looks so different. So if you're looking for things to be an exact replica of Miami, they're just taking some things and adding others, because this is Vice City. This is Grand Theft Auto's world. So they're going to make things look the way that they want them to look, but as close to reality as possible. So Tommy Vercetti, is his mansion going to be in the game? That mansion that he had got when he after he done that one mission, I forgot what it was, but then he ended up in that mansion. Now that mansion, if you don't know, is the same replica of the mansion from Scarface, where Scarface died at. That's why if you ain't played Vice City, or if you playing Vice City now, you may want to stop the video here, because this is going to be a spoiler alert. But at the last mission of Vice City, you have somewhat of the same shootout that Al Pacino had at the end of Scarface. So even his lawyer, the lawyer in Vice City, is a direct depiction of Sean Penn from Carlito's Way. I'm showing you that right now. The lawyer from Vice City, that's where he came from. He came from Sean Penn in Carlito's Way. So a lot of these people were depicted from, actual characters in movies. You probably know that already. If you didn't, I'm informing you on that now. But another question, Lucia and her boyfriend. Could Lucia be Tommy Vercetti's daughter or his granddaughter? Or could the guy that she's with be Tommy Vercetti's son? Is this going to be somewhere in the game? Or is Tommy going to be in the game? Is his grave going to be in the game? You can go visit his grave. Would one of them go visit his grave? Because he's somewhere in Vice City. You understand? He didn't die. He went on to live. So he's somewhere in Vice City, either dead or alive. So that's going to be another major question about this game. This game is going to have so many different elements to it, so many different lores to it, so many different, so many different, lore. That's what the word I was looking for. So many different things going on with it, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, thinking way too far ahead. Somebody might say that in the comments, or, maybe I'm right on the money. Either one of the two wouldn't be bad. So if you enjoyed this video, again, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video. So I guess I'll see you guys in 2025 when Grand Theft Auto initially comes out. And in closing, hopefully somewhere in this video, I've been informative. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.